You gotta kick it off with a killer to grab attention. Then you gotta take it up a notch.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us.
Who are you?
I'm Shiva, the god of death.
Cells. Interlinked.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
The game or the TV show?
Both. I'm enjoying both.
Both games?
Both games and the TV show. We don't have to have this conversation again.
Oh, we are.
No.
One of these days we're going to hash out Last of Us Part 2.
I really don't want to, because this isn't a gaming podcast, so that's how I'm going to shield myself.
Is that the Patreon? The gaming podcast?
Yeah, that is actually I wouldn't mind that, honestly. You know, I really want to get you to
I would 1000% kill it on a gaming podcast.
I know you would. I'm aware, but you've already shared your struggle with, like, how to ask somebody to play this game for like 30 fucking
That's
hours.
the thing. It's a harder
week
thing to stomach and to market, I think, too.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah.
But what I would say, what I would love to do with you is play through the entire Gears of War series and get your opinion on it.
That's something we could do on Twitch, yeah.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
It's I love that game. I love that
just got to make content, baby. Got to be making content.
Everything's content, man.
Got to get that content brain, baby.
If I ever got into doing Twitch stuff, it would probably be like painting tutorials, talking with people about painting.
Fuck. That is perfect.
Yeah.
That's got to be already a market.
It is a thing. There are people that do it. They don't make
Yeah.
that much money because, like, there's a popular Warhammer, how do you say, personality. His name is Ridvan Martinez. Or he goes by Archon Scary. He's up in Canada, and he used to do a Twitch series where he would paint on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and he'd get guests and he'd talk about Warhammer while painting stuff. He doesn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably because he got, like, busy.
Well, I'm sure that's draining, and doing it on a set schedule is annoying. And
plus, he's got like an 11-year-old son, you know, and he travels a lot for Warhammer.
Yeah.
He does a lot of Warhammer content. He's been in the community for like 2 decades. Do you want to talk about the Fabelmans? Oh, here it is. He's got here's another one of his handwritten what do you call manuscripts?
Baby, you know I got the Rhodia.
Manifestos.
I got the Rhodia out.
And for $5 a month, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
So tell me about the Fabelmans.
Let's build an audience first.
Yeah, I know.
I got the Rhodia out, and what that is my very fancy paper written notebook that I write in with my Uniball Jetstream, the greatest pen ever made.
What?
Mainstream pen.
You are a fucking nerd. I hope this isn't within the first 5
I'm sorry.
minutes.
Are you not on a podcast right now?
Yeah, but I'm starting to feel like my nerd creds are...
We are on a podcast where we talk about movies.
That's right.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty, like, you know, not even underground. Like, we're mainstream pop culture, but we are nerds. Well,
yeah,
I hate to break this to you.
I agree, but, like, damn, dude, I don't even know... Like, when I write with something, it's like a mechanical... I don't know what brand mechanical pencil I'm using. That's a new level, man. You got me beat.
Folks, hello and welcome to Debaser, a film podcast. This lovely voice that you're hearing right now is Jared Rusk, and I'm here today with my co-host, Will Taylor.
Hi.
This podcast explores both new and familiar movies as we attempt to analyze and interpret them. And yes, it is an excuse for us to make more time for ourselves to watch movies.
And hang out.
And to hang out, most definitely.
You know what I'm told? Not to, like, let's tackle a really difficult talking point, but...
Baby, let's get into it.
One thing I've been told, and I've never had this problem, is that guys don't have a lot of guy friends.
Men would rather start a podcast than go to therapy? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I wasn't, but that could be a thing. No, like, guys don't hang out, and when they do hang out, they don't really talk about stuff. You know, it's mostly, like, surface level stuff, so you don't have, like, community.
Well, okay. I know exactly what you mean.
I'm not articulating it very well, am I?
No.
Okay.
I know exactly what you mean.
Okay.
I was doing my best Lawrence Fishburne there. It's a really good line from The Matrix. Thank you. Okay, so I know what you mean. Mm-hmm. And it is that sort of thing where when I hear that, though, what should men be discussing then? You know what I mean? Because, like, we discuss our hobbies and stuff because that's what interests us, and we don't have a lot of people to talk to about that.
Jared, I'm going to tell you right now, ever since we've been doing this, me and you have had more conversations about a lot of stuff that isn't hobbies.
But that's kind of what's great about it, too.
Yeah.
Is, like, because that stuff maybe shouldn't be the focus. and it does help like make you a little bit more. I don't know if vulnerable is the right word,
Yeah, it does.
but like all that stuff is extraneous to. Is that the right word? I'm doing the fucking Ed Norton thing from Glass Onion again.
I love that. I love that you point that out every single fucking time.
Sometimes I use a word that I've only ever read in a book, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
It's the surface level shit is what you're saying,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But as we have had conversations, I have told you many things. Like I've gotten teary eyed in front of you. I've talked about shit with my dad, right? Talking about being a father to my son. Today's topic is going to be one of my greatest fears and stuff. Dying is terrifying to me.
Because we're talking about Puss in Boots, The
but-
Last Wish.
The Last Witch. But before we get to that, we're gonna talk a little bit about other shit.
Of course.
But we are gonna talk about P&B, and so like that's what I'm getting at is this isn't just surface level shit. It hanging out with you, watching movies, and then pausing the movie like 20 minutes in to have an hour-long conversation about
God, we
nothing.
fucking did that.
We've done it with Heat. We've done it with Puss in Boots.
And Heat was a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
We really shouldn't have done it with
No,
Heat. We went fucking long that night.
3-hour-long movie with at least 45 minutes worth of talking, and then we recorded a podcast. It was like 1 a.m. when I got home.
Yeah, we were definitely slap happy.
It was good.
I'm slap happy almost every time we end because it's a work night for me.
Yeah.
And whenever we end, I'm already in bed usually most nights at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've contemplated drinking coffee like when you come over, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't sleep.
No, you wouldn't.
Like coffee fucking I love coffee. I can't drink it anymore. It fucks me up.
Oh, really? Not even in the morning?
No,
Oh, man, I'm
it
sorry.
fucks me up. So I make it for my wife, but because I love the smell and I love the routine, like just all like taking time to like grind the beans.
You really connected with Ian McGregor's character in Black Hawk Down, didn't you? It's all on the grind.
No, didn't he
baby.
make really shitty coffee from what I remember?
I mean, he made shitty coffee because that's what they gave him.
well, yeah.
But he makes coffee in the middle of an active war zone. Like that, it reminds me of you. Anyways, a roundabout way of what I'm saying is like I
Yeah.
appreciate doing this with you. I appreciate hanging out, watching a
of
movie,
course.
and having more than surface level conversations.
Yeah.
And I think more people should do this in their
Oh,
lives.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, we are definitely not the first to start a podcast.
No, we're not.
We're maybe the 10 millionth.
Yeah, probably.
Because we are, I mean, okay, 2 cis white guys started a podcast. Fucking sound the alarm, okay? Like,
Whoa.
there's been 20 years of that, all right?
Should have named this show Mold Breakers.
What you said earlier about like when men hang out, they just
Yeah.
talk about like what benign stuff
Or
essentially.
we like grunt at each other.
Oh, I see. I don't. That's more of like the.
That was a joke.
Well, no, because there is a type of guy where not a lot of words are exchanged, or they
Oh,
just
sure.
talk about like football or
Yeah.
something. But I think that's an older. Like, well, no, there are still guys. our
No,
age that are
that
like
is not an older
yeah,
thing.
you're right. You're right.
But no, they talk about like, so what'd you do this week? Oh,
Yeah,
I
or they
worked.
just complain about like the news or politics, and it's like really surface level shit. And even when they hang out with their friends, like it's not, and maybe it's like a nerdy thing for us.
Maybe, I don't know. So get out your
Yeah. Okay.
your Radeon Ultra
Rhodia. Excuse me.
Rhodia
It's a Rhodia.
and your
Thank you.
your 8-point ball pen.
Well, I actually
It's gone. It's missing. Oh, there it is. You got it. All right.
my
Boom,
Uniball
click.
Jetstream, baby.
God. All right,
0.7 millimeters.
Let's hear about the Fabelmans.
I watched a little movie called The Fabelmans, written and directed by Steven Spielberg.
And it's about Steven
Co-written
Spielberg.
by Tony Kushner.
Okay.
It is essentially an autobiographical film about Steven Spielberg's life growing
Okay.
up. And I thought it was going to be more dramatized than it was. But then I was reading about it after the fact and learned that, no, it was actually more accurate more than I thought it was going to be. Especially
Really?
because okay, so a lot of his, we gotta give some context.
Sure.
I'm not gonna spoil the movie,
Actual context. Let's go.
but I will provide a little bit of context.
Sure.
So that you're gonna know the premise of the movie.
It's about Steven Spielberg.
But it's about him specifically him growing up with his family and like finding a love for film.
Okay.
That is the basic premise, like in a nutshell.
Sure.
But if you know Steven Spielberg, he's the director of Jaws, Jurassic Park, Ready Player One. I hate that I'm using that as an example.
You could have just said Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private
and
Ryan.
saved yourself from that.
Yeah, that's his big World War II movie, right?
yeah.
BFG. I hate
Big fucking giant.
Yeah, that's him too. His late career has been weird.
Look, they're not all winners, and that's okay.
Well, they're all. He's talented. His talent shows in
Yes.
every movie.
Yeah.
Even if the last third of his career is maybe a little like, why did he do that? Kind of thing.
Everybody's got to make money, baby.
But he is one of the greatest directors of all time. Unquestionably. Oh, E.T. He's unquestionably one of the greatest directors of all time, right?
yeah,
And he's just been talented from the get-go. Like technically his first movie was Jaws, right?
oh, dude, I have no idea.
I think
you could say that his first movie was the ones that he made with his dad, like dad's hand cam, because he used to do. So to give you context,
that is in the movie. Yeah.
I watched the director's commentary on Saving Private Ryan, and Spielberg talks about, growing up as a young Jewish boy with the war behind him, and being fascinated because I want to say his father was a veteran, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, World War II veteran.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So he grew up with the stories that his father would tell him, and that inspired his love for filmmaking because he would get, his buddies, and they would use neat little practical effects to make it look like they're being shot at while they're running around. Is that a thing in Fabelmans?
Yes.
Yeah. So like, hey,
It's really good.
I've already seen this movie. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? That's wild.
So technically his first feature film was something called the Sugarland Express, but then the next year it was Jaws. But he did a lot of TV before that, a lot of TV. And I knew specifically that he did Columbo because I've watched a lot of Columbo.
Really?
And all of a sudden there's like one or two episodes where it just pops up directed by Steven Spielberg. And I remember like going, what the fuck? The first time that happened because I had no idea.
I've never seen this show.
It's a great detective
This is
show.
the first
Yeah.
time I've ever even heard of it.
Wait, for real?
Yeah,
You
I
know who
don't-
Peter Falk is?
Nope. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I love Jaws though. We can talk about Jaws.
Jaws, one of the greatest movies.
It's fantastic.
It's insane how well it holds up.
It's unfortunate that ride's not at Universal anymore. I love that ride.
What did they replace it with?
They replayed it with Harry Potter.
Are you fucking joking?
No, it's Diagon Alley. The whole thing is Diagon Alley. Granted, I do like being in there because it does feel like you're walking on a movie set, but that ride was classic. And I remember riding it on my 21st birthday, and we got the best skipper because he did not give a single fuck about what he gave all the lines, right?
Yeah.
But during that ride, they shoot a grenade launcher at Jaws. And so, there's a radio signal that comes in. It's like, you can go ahead and use the gun. Your weapon's hot or whatever. And the guy picks it up and goes, whoa, I didn't even know this thing was loaded. And would cock it, not look at where he's shooting, and hit the mark wherever the water was supposed to explode. No problem. This guy did not care about his job. And it was fantastic.
Was it that he didn't care,
Or he
that
had done it
was
so many times,
being
maybe?
so performative that he could make it look like it took no effort? And
That's
he was
probably what it
making
was.
more fun.
It's I have long since not been 21, and I
Well,
still remember that specific.
and he made it more memorable.
It was the
for that.
best, yeah.
Shouts out to that guy.
I don't know who that guy is. If he ever listens to this, man, you made my fucking day.
The skipper that was on Jaws in 2010.
2020.
Not to date
yeah,
you on the
it's
podcast,
2010.
but, yeah.
It was 2010. Ooh, Lord.
I know, doesn't it? Don't you feel ancient now?
I do. It's really unfortunate.
Anyway, also fucking fuck turfs, dude. You made me so mad when you told
so
me what replaced Jaws. No, it's okay. We'll move on.
Let's not. But
Let's
anyway,
not
so
dwell-
you
Hogwarts Legacy just came out. We don't have to talk about it.
we don't have to talk about it. But so you really enjoyed this movie.
Yes.
Would you recommend it?
1000%.
Oh, really?
And not even to only to people that give a shit about who Steven Spielberg is as a filmmaker, or even filmmaking or like the history of cinema and any of that. No, it's just a good film. It's maybe one of his best movies in years, like unquestionably so. I think
He knows the subject matter intimately. So
well, and he's been working on the story for a long time. But also, he hasn't really told this story in a while, or I guess maybe ever, because he didn't want to tell it while his parents were alive, and they have both recently passed. And I think his dad lived to like 103.
good for him.
So yeah,
Rest in peace, Mr.
Heck yeah.
Spielberg.
but and so I think he was finally comfortable making this movie and releasing it now, because he doesn't, he probably didn't want to embarrass them while they were alive.
Sure.
But also, there's a running through line in a lot of his movies where a lot of his movies feature kids, right? And they don't have dads. Like if the dad's absent or just not there.
Hold on, did the kid from E.T. not have a dad?
No.
Holy shit.
Elliot did not have a dad. Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Pretty sure he
Because
did
I was
not.
thinking like, oh, Tim and Ellie from Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
their parents are not there. And then I was thinking about the kid from E.T. and I remember the mom specifically.
Yeah, the mom is very pivotal in that movie.
What other movies does he have with kids in it that don't have dads? Well, I bet you BFG is one of them, but I've not seen that.
BFJ.
Oh, was it British too?
No, that's just what they. Oh yeah, they're British in the movie. Yeah,
Oh,
and that's what
okay.
they sound like when they say it.
That's wild though. So I assume
So-
that's because of like something that.
Early Steven Spielberg
Yeah.
is a lot of kids that don't have dads. Middle to late Steven Spielberg is a lot of guys that have dad issues. Have you seen Catch Me If You Can?
Yes, I really enjoy that movie.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's really
Christopher Walken is his dad, remember?
That's right.
And
Yeah.
he spends his whole life just trying to impress him.
Yeah.
Basically. Like everything he's doing it just so that his parents think he's great, you know?
Okay, and
It's
so
such a good movie.
is this movie like explain what's up? No. You don't want to do spoilers. I understand.
I'm not going to spoil it, but it gets into that. And
Sure.
also it kind of helps explain something like a secret of his past. And like, I'm not trying to like blue ball you about the movie, but
No, it's
but,
fine. It's
like,
intriguing.
There is a really fascinating aspect to this movie that's like both emotionally devastating and just like it really unlocks a lot of like his life, you know. And you can tell that he's an older gentleman. He's been with us for a while.
Yeah.
So he's definitely like reflected on this and has grown emotionally as a person since it happened, and so he can put it on film in a way that like doesn't really blame anybody. It's like, here's just the facts, you know. So it doesn't feel like an angry film or like a pointed film. It's just like, hey, here's what it's like to be a kid that, you know, is in love with art from a young age, and it's just gonna kind of, you know, and you and your family's gonna fuck you up, art's gonna fuck you up, and that's how you're gonna process it, you know. It's a great film.
Cool, man. I'm sold on
Got
that.
to check it out.
So
yeah.
there was a guy. What was it? We were talking about Tar.
Yes.
You brought up Tar.
I'm gonna get around to watching Tar this week.
Yeah. You brought up Tar. You brought up. You told me to watch Banshees of Inisherin and Fabelmans.
Oh yeah.
So hold on. There's this YouTuber that I was watching who talked about all three of them.
Stuckman.
No, not Stuckman. Although I've watched him from time to time.
I know of him because of you. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Ugh,
Yeah. Well,
sorry.
No, he's fine.
He's fine.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just some other guy, and it's just so funny that like the three things that you've brought up to me.
Well, they're
you
all
also mentioned.
they're hot movies right now.
Are
is
they?
why. Yeah. And they're on demand now.
Oh, really?
They weren't, you know,
Oh
until
shit!
recently.
You know what else is on demand?
What's that?
Beast. If you got an Amazon.
Oh, that's right.
If you got an Amazon.
I was there when you
Prime-
found out.
Yeah, oh, that's right. You were.
He got very excited.
I was like, dude, you can watch this for free now.
yeah. And you're like, I'm gonna watch it again.
I might.
Yeah.
Better than on my fucking.
The little airplane
Yeah.
seat thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. With better audio too. Oof. It was bad.
Did you have headphones on?
Yeah, I had my own headphones.
Is the audio quality just poor?
So I don't know why, but only one of my headphones is working. So like I can only hear so much.
Oh, were they wired?
Yeah.
You may not have had them plugged in all the way.
I tried. No. I
Yeah?
did. I
Okay.
did try that. The one of the headphones is dead, and it might just because
Oh,
I
shit.
accidentally like washed them.
Yeah. Okay.
It happens.
Yeah.
I don't remember stuff, unfortunately.
It's okay.
It's all good.
My wife does all the time too.
Right on.
Yeah. You want to get right into the P&B?
Yeah, let's talk about P&B, dude.
So last week we watched Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Listen, Doctor, thanks for everything, but I am feeling great. Strong, like a bull, Now, do you know a good place to get some gazpacho?
Please, this is serious.
What is it?
Puss in Boots. How do I say this?
You died. Doctor, please. Relax! I am Puss in Boots! I laugh at death! You see? And anyway, I am a cat. I have 9 lives.
And how many times have you died already?
I don't know. I never counted. I am not really a math guy,
You are down to your last life. My prescription? No more adventures for you. You need to retire.
Me? Retire? Are you the village comedian as well?
This is a sequel
Yep.
to the last Puss in Boots movie, which does it have a subtitle? Just Puss in Boots?
I want to. Yes, I want to say it is just Puss in Boots.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Which is itself a spin-off of the
The
Shrek
movie is
franchise.
so fucking stupid.
Shrek, for those of you that, I don't know, haven't been paying attention to pop culture since the year 2000, is a, 4-movie franchise about Michael Myers playing a giant green ogre that is just satirizing Disney movies and fairy tales.
I mean, that was like the whole point of it was, hey, we're a studio that also does animation, but
we're not Disney, and in fact, we're cooler and edgier than
we're
Disney.
gonna do that. We're gonna outflank Disney on the discourse of fairy tales, and
we're kids movies, but we're also aimed at adults, and so we're gonna be like kind of mean and rude and either kind of swear or imply swears. I'm particularly thinking of when they go to the castle, Lord Farquaad's castle. There's like that scene where they're singing a song and they're talking about like washing your face. And it's it's just lots of
God, it's been so long since I've seen that first movie.
Well, Shrek opens with they're reading a fairy tale story to intro you to like Fiona.
Yeah.
And then Shrek takes the pages and like
he wipes his own ass.
He uses it as toilet paper.
Yeah.
And then he, famously busts out of the the moon or the what's it called? The,
body.
To Smash Mouth. Yes.
So bad.
Which I think we all know from the meme by now. Which, God, that meme is actually really fucking old. I bet my niece doesn't even know that meme.
It's mid.
The meme is mid.
No, it's actually high tier. So this is a sequel to Puss in Boots. It doesn't have a rider to it. That movie came out in 2011. The Puss in Boots movie.
That is further away than it sounds.
Yeah.
To me.
So
yikes.
The sequel's actually been in development hell for a really long time.
That explains why it took 12 years?
11.
11? Okay.
Yeah, 11 years.
Holy cow.
So
it's still Antonio Banderas and
Salma Hayek.
She's in the last one too.
Yes,
okay.
she's Kitty Softpaws in the last one.
Yeah. Okay.
They're the only two people that come back for this one.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow.
Because the other like mainstay character was Humpty Dumpty, and he unfortunately does not make it through the movie.
Who plays him in that? Anybody know?
Fuck if I know.
Yeah.
The voice. I'm not gonna look it
you
up.
Couldn't place it. Yeah.
No, I couldn't. And the voice is like very mismatched for a disgusting egg-shaped person.
Well, there's a lot of good cast members in this one.
Oh yeah.
Their sidekick is Harvey
Gideon.
Harvey Gideon. He's Guillermo in What We Do in the Shadows.
They've got Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh is fucking Goldilocks,
and she's got a British accent. Except that you told me that it's actually
that is her actual voice.
Speaking voice, and it made me so sad.
I take it you didn't watch her cooking videos on Instagram that were real.
I didn't even know that
real big hits during the pandemic.
I didn't know she did that.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Lord, and then
it was in Zach Braff's kitchen, I think too. I hate that. I hate to say it.
God damn it.
Yeah. John Mulaney is the villain.
No. Oh, sorry. There's two villains.
Yes,
he is Jack Horner.
He is so good as the villain too.
Well, I mean, we're gonna get into that.
Mulaney is a great voice actor. Okay. Also, while we're on that note, this movie's animation style is very unique. It's distancing itself from the Shrek franchise.
It's drastically different
for its benefit because the Shrek franchise, like its animation, has not aged well. It looks like shit, and it's a good thing that they took this. But what they did was they cribbed a lot from Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, not to its detriment. Like, it's great.
No, they needed to do a animated shift because I watched the first one before watching this one.
The first Puss in Boots.
First Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
And I remember like looking at the human characters and just thinking, Jesus Christ, this studio goes out of their way to make human beings look fucking ugly. Just ugly as shit.
Yes.
You know, all of them.
And like maybe that was the gag?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
It was its like personal style, but
yeah.
But what DreamWorks has done, at least last year, is they've changed the way that they've animated stuff. I was thinking on my ride over here how not only did the animation style kind of get lifted from Sony's Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes, it's Sony animation that does all of the Sony Pictures animation that
Right.
does like Into the Spider-Verse and Mitchell's versus the Machines. These movies where they just like cut the frame rate in half so that they can animate it.
I think that's more Into the Spider-Verse than Mitchell's and Machines. Mitchell's and Machines didn't have like
Well-
that choppy of a.
Well, they do a lot of split 2D and 3D.
Yes. Okay. They
Also,
do that. Yeah.
and
They
they do it
that.
even more so, I think, in Mitchell's and the Machines, if I recall. I only
Yes.
saw it the one time. I've seen Spider-Verse a few times.
I've watched Mitchell and the Machines like 4 fucking
I
times.
should watch it more.
It's really
because
good.
it's also great.
Yeah.
It's written and directed by the same people that did Into the Spider-Verse, Phil Lord and something Miller. Lord and Miller is how they're referred to typically. Sorry, I can't remember their first names.
It's all good.
But
I was gonna say though, because I also watched The Bad Guys with my kid.
right, that's
which you
also
haven't
Sony.
seen. No.
Oh.
That's DreamWorks.
Oh,
And the animation in that is very stylistic, very clean.
Yeah.
There's a part where one of the characters is like a ninja, and they're defeating a bunch of security guards.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have to show you the clip after the fact. But they get caught by one of the security guards. The security guard like catches them while they're sideways, and they like hit him in a I think the groin. I can't remember, and he like freezes, and then they do this like crazy WWE spin around their body just to like throw them down.
yeah.
That movie is incredibly stylistic and just very different from what DreamWorks has been doing. And thankfully, because they've got DreamWorks and Illumination. Illumination does like the Minions and the Lorax and all the pump and dump garbage. But DreamWorks has like really been kicking it out. They made more money last year than Disney. In
Wow.
the animated department.
Yeah.
Which is big.
Well, Shrek really kicked Disney in the balls back in the day.
Right,
too.
but Disney.
But I think they've been struggling kind of since. Just
Yeah, they have.
Going off the top of my head.
Because they're like, okay,
yeah.
we just do Shrek movies because they make $1 billion.
And DreamWorks movies just became trash.
Yeah.
And they all had the meme for the longest time was like all of them had that cover where the character just had like one raised eyebrow. Do you remember this? Because it was like
Yeah.
Kung Fu Panda.
That's right.
Shark Tale, was that them?
Yep.
And a bunch of those movies were just coming out, and they were just
Spitting them out,
Yeah,
and then they got the Despicable Me, like Trolls and that's all Illumination now. They have the there's
so is
like
Illumination like a spin-off of DreamWorks? or
I want to say
something?
there's like a fraction of animators that went from DreamWorks to work for Illumination.
That's so funny because that's how DreamWorks started. It was a bunch of people that left Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's somebody who can explain it much better than me, who knows it way better than I do about like the breakdown of.
Don't give them free press.
I don't even remember who it is, but
Okay.
I've watched a thing like how, Shrek ruined animation for the longest of times because it wasn't.
I've also heard this argument.
Yeah, because before Shrek, DreamWorks did like Sinbad. They did Road to El Dorado.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
DreamWorks.
Yeah.
And they did the Prince of Egypt. They were doing these like very poignant, beautiful hand drawn
Yeah.
things, but they weren't making any money.
Right.
And then
those
Shrek-
were expensive to do.
Exactly. And then
Yeah.
Shrek comes out and it's the lowest common denominator movie, and it does gangbusters.
It's
and like,
full
oh,
of fart jokes and
which I love a good
Yeah.
fart joke as much as the next person. But
Listen,
like,
we
I
were
just,
all Kevin Smith fans at some point.
yeah, still am to this day, even though like some of his movies are just so bad now. But like, that's what sold, and then it just kept getting crappier and crappier, and it's really nice to see, very refreshing to see Sony, inspiring this studio to say, hey, we need to do something different.
Yeah.
And Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is so fucking good. I wanted to say the other villain of the movie is the wolf,
Yeah.
and that's voiced by Wagner Moura, who is so that's oh my god, he's in Narcos.
Oh,
is
you
his-
told me this.
Yeah, he's Pablo Escobar.
Because I was trying to figure out where do I know him from because he's really good.
Yes, he is
But I couldn't. It wasn't like the voice was like
noticeable.
activating anything in me.
No.
Like, I was like, I don't think I can place it, but it's really good. It's an incredible performance too.
You would recognize him visually. So
Okay.
here's my great. I'm gonna shoot this arrow right here. Not only is he Pablo Escobar in Narcos, but he's Spider in Elysium.
Oh.
So I'm gonna point him out to you whenever we watch
Okay.
it.
And you lean in and you go, "That's Spider."
Hey, that's Spider. No, I'm just gonna say that's Chappie instead. I'm gonna point out Chappie too whenever we watch it.
So we will have to double bill that. I think
I would love
Let's
to.
double bill Elysium and Chappie.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then just have a 3-hour pod. and then we'll double bill Taxi Driver
And the other one that you're telling me about.
and First Reformed.
Yes.
Oh,
It's going to be a good time. Look forward to those.
can't
Anyways,
wait for you to see those.
I'm looking forward to it. Did you want to I don't know, break down the synopsis of the movie? Or I remember everything.
Let's do it.
Okay. So, and this is how I sold the movie to Jared. So
Yeah, you really did. And it was just what, the first 15 minutes?
Yeah, first 15
Well,
minutes.
because you skid right past the giant part.
because I didn't know about that.
Well, oh, okay.
Yeah. So the movie begins with Puss. He's doing his Robin Hood shtick. He's
Yeah,
throwing
Robin Hood meets Zorro,
yeah,
but in
he's
a
like
cat's body with
he's
Antonio Banderas' voice.
Yeah, he's a bard rogue mix.
Yes.
And he's throwing a party in a mayor's mansion. He's singing a song about who's your favorite fearless hero. He's just living up that gallivantry that he's throwing on, right? And he's trying to he gets found out by the mayor. He tries to escape. A fucking Shadow of the Colossus monster wakes up. Did you not get Shadow of the Colossus vibes from that thing?
I didn't think it at the time, but
now thinking about it,
it makes perfect sense. Yeah.
And he is singing the song and using fireworks to get to the top of this damn creature just to like defeat it with its own bell. And you can tell right away that when the animation gets to the action,
Yes.
it's that style that you were talking about.
Yeah, I think most of us were introduced to it through Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
And it's where they use a mixture of 2D and 3D, and then they're also cutting the frame rate for the moving objects. So it's, I don't know, maybe not less than half. It's less than half the normal frame rate of a movie,
Yeah.
which is typically like 24 frames, but I think for animation they actually do 30. I'm
Okay.
not sure. I'm not a huge animation nerd.
The only FPS that I know for
Yeah.
animation is for Akira, and that was 36 frames per second.
No shit. I didn't know that.
That
That's
made it like
fascinating.
super fucking smooth.
That's why it looks so good even now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Because even like Ghibli was pushing 33, 34,
Right.
to make it layer stuff like
That
smooth.
makes sense. Because I know it has to be more than 24. Because 24 looks, that's what, almost all film is filmed at 24 frames per second.
Gotcha.
But it looks natural live action.
Right.
When it's animation, it needs to be higher. And that's why, if you play video games, you think 30 FPS is the minimum. And typically you actually want to shoot for 60, or God forbid you play like Counter-Strike or Call of Duty and you need it to be like 144. But anyway, because that's what I'm more familiar with.
Right.
But I know animation needs to be higher. It's upwards of 30
Gotcha.
for sure, from what I understand. But so when they do this animation style, particularly in action scenes, yeah, they cut it down to like, maybe 10 frames per second?
Yeah,
like
so it looks kinda
something-
choppy.
It looks choppy, but it's part of the effect. And it works. It's very cool.
Yeah.
It looks very good. So when like Puss is flying at the giants, like it switches to the style where everything is suddenly like, it looks hand drawn, but also it's moving at a slower speed. And I think that's because they're hand drawing all those scenes. Because if
Oh,
it
that
were to be
makes
a
a lot of
higher
sense.
frame rate like the rest of the movie,
Yeah.
it would be so much more work. Because that's what is expensive, is doing
Gotcha.
high frame rate, like hand drawn animation. Now,
And it
when
makes
it's
it look
3D, it
more
doesn't
dy-
fucking matter.
Right, but when they're doing that, yeah, it does make them look more dynamic. They're like stretching them out,
Yes.
giving you a sense of speed. Oh, that makes sense. I
Yes.
get it.
So and it's kind of a trick of the eye too.
Yeah.
I wish I could explain it in a more technical term, but I'm not super versed in animation.
Me
But that is
either.
that is in layman's terms, which is the only way I could speak to it. That's how it's working.
Right.
But it looks great, and when you see it, not all that is registering. You know,
Yeah.
it just looks cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're gonna think, oh, this looks like Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
Which
that
is
is
a
exactly
great,
what you're gonna do.
You know, it's a great association to make because that
Yeah.
movie fucking rules.
That movie's awesome.
If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Maybe
take your
you're just like,
kids.
there's too many Spider-Mans. No, watch this fucking movie.
And then watch the sequel. It's coming out
It's
this
not-
year, I think.
It's coming out. I was like, it's
Yeah.
not out yet.
No,
What are
not
you talking
yet.
about? Like, yeah, there'd be pandemonium in the streets.
There's another Spider-Man. Oh
They
my
just
god.
shadow dropped it on like HBO Go, and people are like, wait, why the
What?
fuck can't we see that in a theater? You know?
Yeah. But anyway, so he defeats this giant.
Right.
And
this is still the prologue, essentially.
Yeah, this is still the prologue, and he's trying to gin up more applause for himself, and right as he's about to take out his little guitar and sing the song again, the bell that was attached to this giant falls on top of him and kills him. And then he wakes up, and there's a doctor / veterinarian / barber.
Yeah. I was gonna say, we don't know that it kills him.
Well, yeah.
But when he wakes up in the doctor's office, the doctor, which is a great performance. That doctor.
Yeah,
is
who was
really
you?
funny.
I thought you pinned him almost immediately because you recognized the guy's voice.
I think I thought I knew who it was, but who is he actually?
Anthony Mendez.
I don't know that I know who that is.
Oh, okay.
But he was great.
Yeah, he
it's a
was
great
great.
performance. It's very funny and eclectic.
Yeah.
He's all over the place, and you know he's what 4 different professions for the town.
Right.
But he, you know, explains to Puss. He's like, "Hey, you died," and Puss is like, "Oh, that's
whatever.
fine.
You know,
I've got 9 of them.
I've
I'm a
got
cat."
9 lives. And
Yeah.
He's like, well, how many of those lives have you lost?
Right.
And then we get this awesome montage.
Oh, it's so good.
of the 8 other lives of Puss, you know, which I think one of them actually was, because if you noticed, they all had different garb.
Yes.
One of them was the one from the first movie.
Good. I'm glad they did a callback. Not that, you know,
They didn't.
not
need
that they
it.
had to.
Yeah.
But it's cool that they could incorporate.
Yeah.
that.
And like
I didn't have the frame of reference for it because
I told you not to watch it.
Yeah,
and,
it's
and like
fine.
you really don't need to.
It's fine. I'm not going back and watching any more Shrek movies either.
No, don't. But so like he realizes, oh, he's the last one. But Puss puts on these airs of like, well, I'm invincible. I laugh at the face of death.
Right.
Right. And then he goes to the bar and he's getting milk drunk, and this figure comes into the bar, and he's, you know, this large imposing wolf. He takes
Hooded, yeah.
He's hooded, and he takes his hood back, and they have this, you know, conversation about kind of like death, mortality, and the legend that is Puss in Boots. And he's like, oh, I've been waiting for you. I've been, you know, waiting for this moment.
But he's wording it like he's a bounty hunter. 'Cause
Right,
That's what
yes.
Puss is used to dealing with. Is people wandering in and trying to bring him in because there's a bounty on his head.
Exactly. Yeah. He even like shows him the
wanted poster.
The wanted poster. And, you know, Puss is like, well, I laugh at the face of death, and pulls out his sword and goes, you know, have at thee, right? And this guy knocks the sword out of his hand almost immediately, and Puss goes and grabs it, and this imposing character pulls out these 2 sickles and starts dragging him on the ground.
It's fucking sick, too.
They present this guy so fucking cool.
Oh, yeah.
And you realize that it's death. Puss even realizes that it's death, and you know, they kind of go back and forth, and Puss gets disarmed in the middle of the fight, and Death wants the fear. He wants you to run. That's the
Like he's clearly being
sadistic kind of
turned on by
Yes.
how afraid Puss is suddenly. And yeah, and it's not hammered in now like it is later in the film, but
Yeah.
yeah, you realize he is the literal manifestation of death. Like he's essentially Grim Reaper in a wolf's body.
And he says to him, he kicks the sword to him and goes, pick it up. Pick it up. It's a really cool line, and Puss is like, oh no, I'm gonna die, and he runs.
Yeah.
He runs away.
Has fear for maybe the first time
in his entire life
that we've ever even seen, you know, in these films. Yeah.
And so then he kind of puts the legend of Puss in Boots to literal death. Like he buries his shit. He puts on a.
He finds out about there's like a cat house where like an
Oh,
old
the
lady...
doctor tells him about the cat house,
Right.
and he's like, well, fuck it, let's go. I'm gonna go there because that's safe.
Yeah, and it's essentially like a retirement home for cats. Like it's an old lady that takes care of cats.
Yeah.
So he goes there and buries his entire
Persona.
garb, his outfit,
Yeah.
and also burying Puss. He does a little funeral for himself.
It's played for laughs. It's fun.
Yeah,
Whatever.
And then he goes in and kind of self-retires
Yep.
and grows a beard and just becomes a lazy house cat.
Yeah. He meets Perrito, the dog.
Yes, played by Harvey, or Guillermo,
Yeah.
as we know him. So great. He's also great in Werewolves Within. Is that the name of it?
Yeah. Werewolves Within.
Which is itself based on. Is it based on that card game?
It is based on the party game Werewolf.
I think I knew that when I saw it.
That's the reason why
and I
Ubisoft did
forgot.
it.
Yeah, that's why Ubisoft produced it.
Yeah.
What a wild
It's a good movie.
thing. Great movie.
Yeah.
Should not have been that great.
I think that's actually, I want to say that's what made us pause it like 20 minutes in, because we started talking about that movie when we were watching.
Oh,
Puss in Boots.
well,
That's what we started. Yeah, we started
Yes.
talking about that, and then we started talking about other things.
right.
So, but anyways, to gloss over the next segments of the movie, because like there's the bee pot with Goldilocks and the bears, and then there's
Right, we keep cutting to them. They're a
Crime
British
family.
crime posse.
they're looking to do crimes, mate, or whatever.
What is it Cockney? Is that the accent?
It's the Cockney accent.
They're all Cockney.
Yeah,
So it feels like they're coming out of a Guy Ritchie movie.
yeah. They're saying, "Oi,
Yeah,
bruv, you can't crime us, we'll crime you."
And yeah, we're supposed to rob them, isn't it?
Yeah, I smash you. Anyway, so they're looking. Oh yeah, I forgot the whole movie starts off with the fucking star landing in because the whole legend is that the star grants a wish.
Oh, I forgot that too. That's why it's called
that
The
shit.
Last Wish.
I don't give
It's
a
very
fuck about any of that
it's
stuff.
fine.
But like
That feels like this was a different. I'm sure different teams worked on this, and there was the team that did the main outline of the Wish thing with Jack Horner.
Yeah.
And then there was the team that was like, okay, but let's also make this like a really big metaphor for aging and death.
Yeah, and like living with being happy with one's existence. It's
right.
But anyways, so the crime family who's oibroving themselves across fairy tale land is looking for.
They're very much the B plot of this.
Yeah,
movie,
they're looking for the star to make a wish.
Right.
And the same thing with Jack Horner. Jack Horner, played by John Mulaney, is also looking to get this wish, and his whole motivation is that growing up he would go on tour sticking his thumb in pies and saying that they're good, selling pies, right? And then he got upstaged by Pinocchio because Pinocchio is a magical wooden puppet and he doesn't have magic. And that's his whole thing is he does not have magic, and so he's been going around collecting magical items to give him an edge over these fairy tale creatures, right?
And he essentially becomes like a crime lord? Is that
so? I don't think it's a crime lord thing. Like he sells pies, and that's the front.
Oh, he's like a magnate or a magnate of like this giant like pie company. Is
right.
That what it is?
And he's using the money that he makes for it to collect magical items.
Yeah, to fund his like weird Disney paraphernalia collection.
Yes. And so some of the things that I've heard other people talk about this specific character is they find him interesting because this is like one of the first villains that is not redeemable in a long time. Because we've been. Did you not think about that?
No, I didn't, because it's a kids' film.
Yeah, but
but that is a hot thing right now.
In the Bad Guys movie, even the main villain has like a redeemable thing. Ever since fucking Killmonger, villains that have some sort of relatable.
I think it goes back further than
maybe it does. I can't remember. Like that's the first real example where people are like, oh, this guy's got a fucking point. Yeah, you know, he's just going about it in the wrong way.
Well, that was a big movie where it was like, actually, he's right. You know, not that he's redeemable, just that he made a really good point.
Sure. Even in the second, hey, you really need to watch the second movie because he still makes a good point in the second movie.
Especially because we gotta see Ant-Man. It's like an obligation at this point.
Okay. Anyways, I'm excited for it, even though it's not doing well. But so like he is irredeemably evil. It's played for laughs too. Like, you know, he gathers because of the bug later on the bug
the Jiminy Cricket analog.
Yeah,
that's more of it has like a Jimmy Stewart effect.
Yeah.
Why, Mr. Water? Why are you doing this?
Exactly.
It's so good.
Yes, it's fantastic. But like, so this guy, you know, so Puss comes out of retirement because he finds out about the star. I want to say he finds out about the star because he overhears the crime family,
right? The Goldilocks and the Three Bears,
talking about it because they
bust in looking for him specifically to hire him to find the star for them.
Exactly. And so like he goes to get it. He brings Harvey, or I guess I'm gonna call him Guillermo now too. Perito, the dog.
Perito.
Yes,
yeah, that's what they keep calling him in the movie.
Yeah. They bring him. He like kind of comes along, and his main thing is he wants to be a therapy dog. So
that is a great bit.
So Puss breaks in, you know, tries to steal the map that takes him to the star, runs into his old fling, Kitty Softpaws, played by Salma Hayek, and while they're doing that, in comes, you know, Goldilocks and Three Bears, and this is where everybody kind of like runs into each other. And they're off to the races to find the star, and we get this excellent montage from Jack Horner's perspective about like taking all of his magical items. He gets like unicorn horns that he shoots people with a crossbow. He's got the rose from Beauty and the Beast. He's got King Trident's trident. He's got all these different things. Once again, you know, not making fun of, but like, oh, this, if you've watched Disney movies, you've seen all these items.
Right, they're parodying like all the Disney movies because that's kind of the Shrek franchise's thing.
Yeah,
is it's just satirizing fairy tales in Disney movies. Like that's just like that's their MO.
Right,
and so they retain that in a way in this movie, but not in a way that.
It's a wink and a nod instead of being like overly.
Yes,
except for Jiminy Cricket.
Overt, yes.
Jiminy Cricket is the only one that's like overt.
Yeah, but it's great.
But it's played. No, it's done
really
artfully.
Funny.
Yeah. So
He doesn't have a lot of scenes. It's like 4 or 5, maybe.
yeah, but there's enough.
But he pops in and it's great.
Yeah.
Well, and is that when Jack activates the baker's dozen?
Yes, he
Chase
does.
down
He's
the
like,
map?
it's time to gather the baker's dozen, and it's just a dozen fucking bakers that come with him on his war
And they
wagon.
ride a giant war wagon that's essentially a giant wedding cake that they ride on.
That's right, it's a fucking
And
wedding
they're all just his henchmen are just dressed like chefs. Yeah,
Yeah, it's great. But they all have like cooking
right.
utensils
Their
that
weapons
are deadly.
it's like a rolling pin and like egg beaters and stuff.
It's a pizza cutter, but it's like saw blade.
I mean, that can be deadly. Like I've cut myself a lot on our pizza cutter.
Jared, that's not good.
Well, trying to clean it, with a
Oh, that
sponge,
makes
and then you
sense.
end up like,
It spins.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to hold on to when you're trying to scrub it.
I get
it's
it.
a whole thing.
I understand. So during this time, Perito gives his like story, his funny, haha. Oh, I have
yeah.
like this is my backstory, and it's actually really tragic because like his family tries to drown him in a sock with cement. But this is like character
Or
who
rocks, I think it was.
Oh, it was rocks. It was
Yeah.
rocks in a sock. So like they try to murder him, but he doesn't know because this character's like very happy-go-lucky, like looks for the best in life, is very optimistic.
Yeah.
To the point where they're like, and I grew into the socks, and now I have a really cool outfit. Look, go me, And you kind of get this sense of distance between Kitty and Puss. And if you've watched the first movie, they went their separate ways in that movie. So you kind of get this idea of, oh, this is what they're talking about. Because at the end of the movie, they go their separate ways.
So, in this sequel, in Last Wish, we learned that it's because they were supposed to get married, and on the day that they were supposed to meet at the chapel to get married, Puss like
Gets cold feet.
chickened out, and it's a great like they just show the scene of him standing on like a hillside
Yep.
looking at the church in the background or the foreground. And it's great. It was a great scene, and they cut to it like 2 or 3 times to remind us like why Softpaws doesn't trust him and doesn't like him anymore.
Yeah.
But so does that happen in the first movie?
No,
Not
so
really?
they do genuinely go their separate ways.
Okay.
Because they realize they can't. They work together really well, and they've got like a thing. But as she said, I can't compete with the person you love,
Right.
and that's yourself.
Right.
But it seems that they intimated that between the two movies, they met up and decided, hey, let's get married. And
Right,
then
right.
that sequence happens.
In the last 11 intervening years.
Right. So they open up the map, and Puss looks at it, and there's like the Swamp of Sorrows and the Mountains of Lost Souls and stuff, and like, oh my god, this is treacherous.
Yeah.
And then they hand the map to Kitty, and hers is all about like not being can't trust people, being alone.
Right. All the names of the areas are clearly playing on their psychoses or their fears and things.
Right. And
and
they
then-
give the map to the little dog.
You're right.
And it's like the Marshmallow Meadows.
Yeah,
and
it basically
the,
turns into Candyland.
yeah. And it's like, oh well, fuck, you hold the map then.
Right. And so they just follow along, and then of course
Shit hits the fan.
Jack Warner catches up to them.
And the baker's dozen fights these blue roses that you have to like.
We're not skipping anything, right?
No, that's
Okay.
literally it.
So
like,
that's when he throws that is that when the piranha? No, because then he gets attacked by the piranha plants, right?
yeah, as they're coming in and they're dealing with the piranha plants that they have
Yeah.
to like either laugh at or whatever to get past them. It's very, if you've ever played Dungeons and Dragons, if you've ever been in the Fey realm, it's very much those rules. Dude,
shit.
I'm telling you, man.
You were mentioning while we were watching it, you're like, wow, this is just like pulling a lot from D&D, and I was like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
I would not have expected that.
Even
all the characters are different classes, like archetypes.
I could literally sit there and point to you. This person's this
Yeah.
person's that. Like Goldilocks is clearly a ranger, and the three bears are
Yeah. her
animal companions in a way.
Is it Pietro the dog? What's dog in Spanish?
Perrito.
Perrito. Is he
Perrito
paladin?
would be, I would say either, a paladin.
Yeah, okay.
It uses his strength is his conviction.
Yeah.
And his conviction is good.
Puss is a bard.
Bard rogue.
And-
Kitty Softpaws is 100% a rogue.
Yeah, full rogue.
Jack Horner is like either a barbarian or a warrior.
Yeah.
He's very physically fit and strong. He
Baker's
uses,
dozen are obviously monks.
yeah, 100%. So like, yeah. So the Perrito's world is running on Fey Realm rules. So
Okay, yeah.
you have to give out good vibes to get around the fauna.
Right.
And so, as this is happening, Jack Horner shows up. Well, I guess Goldilocks and Three Bears show up, but they don't really do much in that segment. It's more Jack Horner showing up.
And they get sidetracked when something happens to the map. It changes into like nostalgia land.
It changes hands after the...
Oh, they have a fight with Jack Horner. He catches up to
ambushes them a second time.
Okay, yeah.
But he's reaching through his bag and he's pulling out a bunch of different magic items. And one of them is like a phoenix. One of them, he gets the cricket.
Jiminy Cricket
He
comes
gets Jiminy
out.
Cricket, yeah.
I don't... Did they ever name him? Because it's clearly Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio.
It's I want to say it's the bug. Ethical Bug.
Ethical Bug.
Yeah, that is
What?
his name.
That's
is
great.
Ethical Bug.
But it's clearly just Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, voiced by Kevin McCann, who doesn't have a profile picture on IMDb.
Oh, damn.
What a bummer.
Wow.
Knockout performance
Sir,
for him.
get your representation on your IMDb profile.
I know,
Jesus. Right? Tell your reps to get on that shit.
But he's like trying to judge Jack Horner's soul, and he's like, "Oh, your men are getting eaten by roses. What are you gonna do?"
That is okay for someone who wasn't familiar with who Jimmy Stewart was. That was great.
I'm only parroting you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, see, I think you know from osmosis because like he's been parodied on everything. Like there's a whole character on The Simpsons, Gil, who is just being
no shit. That's him.
Yes, that's just
my
Jimmy
fucking
Stewart
God.
in movies.
You blew my fucking mind.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Like this from cultural osmosis.
Old Gil's gonna strike it big today.
Yeah, oh, I gotta call my wife. Oh, what do you mean? Why is Bill there? Oh, come on! Don't put him on the phone.
Yeah, there you go.
So good.
So Jack Horner's dudes are getting absolutely murdered by these fucking plants, and he's just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I need to get through these stupid things.
Yeah.
Which is funny because the Bakers do survive that part.
That's the thing, we think they're dying, but they actually end up surviving.
They're indestructible, kind of. I think they work on Superman rules. Superman can't be beaten except for by magic. And so
Right.
when we get to the other segment,
And kryptonite.
sure, yeah. And when we get to the next segment, when magic is actually being used, then they start dying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the map changes hands while they're being attacked, and the world keeps shifting.
Right. But the best part about this specific sequence, right?
Yes.
They get ambushed. You find out a little bit about Kitty and Puss's back. I think this is where you get a little bit more of an elaboration on that. And they get ambushed by Jack Horner once again. And Jack takes out his crossbow with unicorn horns and starts shooting. And he hits one of his own men, and they like poof into confetti.
Yeah.
And then it happens again. And every single time he shoots it, it gets closer and closer to Puss. And then time slows. And his hair, which has been slicked to his body due to the animation style, raises up.
Yeah. It's great every time they zoom in.
Yeah.
And you see he's freaking out.
Yeah, he's freaking out. He's like,
You hear his heart beating, I think, too.
yeah, what the fuck is going on? And this whistle starts playing, which is the whistle that the wolf does. The camera pans behind him. And the rocks behind him are in the shape of a skull, and there's the wolf. Oh, fuck. I missed the part where they leave the city, and the wolf is there, and he has 2 golden coins over his fucking eyes.
When he's racing out,
Yes.
yeah, the wolf is just standing in the crowd.
Yeah, every time
And it freaks him out.
Every time
Yeah.
Puss gets in danger, the looming threat of the end of his life is there.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like reminding him, and you're like, oh, is this like a spiritual reminder? But like we come to realize, like, no, he's
really being
literally
hunted.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
And so he freaks the fuck out, has a panic attack, and runs.
Yeah.
He just runs.
Yeah.
And that's when the map changes hands like permanently, and I think Goldilocks gets it. And her map is all about like nostalgia and longing, and that plays into.
And they end up in the house from the 3 bears,
Right?
And they just sit there and they talk about the first time they met and what Goldilocks was like when she was growing up. It's actually a really sweet scene.
It is,
and it does the opposite of what all the Shrek films do, where, like I kept saying, they just satirize all of like fairy tales and all this stuff. It actually leans into it here in like a sentimental way.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, remember the first time we found you? You were trying out all of our beds and eating our porridge, and we raised you, and you were such a sweet little girl.
And we found out that, having you in our family was just right.
Right. It's so sweet. And then you realize, like, oh, Goldilocks kind of like made them be criminals because, and she eventually lets it out after a while here that she wants to find a human family.
Her wish is to get back with her parents. She
Yeah.
wants to use her bear family as a means to an end to
Right.
get the wish.
But they're just tagging along with her, doing her bidding as like a crime family because it's what she wants to do and they want to make her happy.
Yeah,
It's really
you can kind of tell the mom is willing to go to the ends of the earth for
Right.
Goldilocks, and the other two are in line with mom.
right. They just follow Mama Bear mostly.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But before that instance, we have Puss, and he's having a fucking panic attack.
Right. He runs behind the tree and that's where he's panting and Perito comes up and he's like, "Hey, what's wrong?"
And
You
he
know?
can't speak. He's just too
Yeah.
into himself. And the dog who wants to be a therapy dog just lays his head.
Yeah,
on,
he just lays on him.
Yep.
To just help him calm down. And Will, I gotta say, like, I've had problems with anxiety my whole life.
Yeah.
And I didn't really realize it until I was 30, and I turned 30 like a week before the coronavirus pandemic happened. And I started having panic attacks because that was one of the worst years of my life.
Yeah, I know.
As many people, I'm sure it wasn't anything unique to me, but I've gotten to the point now, and we were talking about how earlier we were saying when we get older we're getting emotional.
Yeah.
Anytime a character has a panic attack in a movie, I'm instantly like, wow, this movie's really hitting for me. Like
Yeah.
I'm immediately like 1000% more attached to that person and pulling for them, and it'll be in the dumbest movie like this.
But that's the thing. That is.
I'm just shocked that they're examining it in a children's movie, because like kids movies when we were younger wouldn't feature a panic attack, or if they did, it would be dramatized differently maybe and not more realistically like it is in this.
I was gonna count it because I thought you were gonna be like, oh well, they don't really tackle the concept of death very well in kids movies, and I was gonna counter with
they really
the Iron Giant.
Oh,
The Iron Giant is
And
literally.
I guess we were kids when that came out.
Yeah.
But I saw it as an adult. I missed it.
Oh no shit, dude! I
Yeah.
grew up with that movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, watching that
movie's got some good themes because it's like anti-war and anti-weapon
about,
stuff.
and it's also like even though you are who you are, you
Yeah.
choose
Right.
what you want to be.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, dude, Haley never watched it growing up, and I made her rewatch it with like a little bit of context, and I was bawling at the end of that movie. And I watched it like a couple months ago, and my sister walked by, and I was like, "Hey, have you ever watched this movie?" And she was like, "No," and I started like talking about the end, and I'm in tears. I'm like, this movie is very powerful.
The ending of that movie is like manipulating you, though it's like super emotionally charged from what I remember.
So good though. So with this movie being out and kind of doing the same thing of like showing the real fear people can have about their own mortality, I really resonated with it too. I don't have like panic attacks. I don't have like things that shut me down. But when I do think about the end of my existence, I do get a wave of anxiety. I get in this like mental state that all I can think about is that. Like I get obsessively focused over it. And I've been having this problem since I was 11. And I've learned to deal with it. I've learned to get myself out of that mindset. But ever since I've become a dad, it's gotten worse. It's like every 3 nights when I'm trying to go to sleep and I'm trying to empty my head, the intrusive thoughts come in, and that's where it goes to. And I have to like just shake it off and talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
I remember one specific time that almost put me into the situation that Puss is in. I was at work at the Humane Society, and I was washing animal bowls, and it hit me like a wave, like a fucking tsunami.
Yeah.
And I had to, I punched a wall, like, full fucking Kyle style, just to like refocus myself.
Yeah.
Hurt my hand.
Yeah.
But just to pull myself back into reality. And when I watched a review for this movie and they talked about that specific instance, I was like, this movie is for me. I have to watch it, and I'm not disappointed. This movie is fucking fantastic. But so he uses the power of, a companion offering comfort refocus himself and get back to reality, to redouble his efforts to make it to the end.
Yeah.
Right. And then we get the sequence of Puss and Kitty kind of talking about their romance.
Well, so as he's coming down from a panic attack, he starts opening up to Burrito and telling him, he's like, I'm not a good person. I screwed up. I ran out on her when we were supposed to get married, and I wasn't nice to her and stuff. And she is walking up to check on them, but starts overhearing him explaining this and admitting that, he's been in the wrong.
Yeah.
And so she stops and just listens. And then finally goes, "Oh, hello guys." And makes her presence known.
So the next segment is straight out of Scott Pilgrim. I don't know if you noticed certain elements. So, okay.
Yeah.
When was the last time we watched Scott Pilgrim?
It's been a minute. I should rewatch it.
Yeah, it's
we could do a whole 3 hours on that movie.
Oh, I know we could.
Because that movie,
it's got a lot of good stuff going on.
We were
It's
at the
very
perfect
stylistic.
age.
Yes, we were.
When that came out.
Yep.
We are essentially the Scott Pilgrim generation.
Yeah.
Because, man, so much about that movie just is... We can't explain that to our kids. We'll have to just show it to them and be like, you just had to be there.
You just had to be there, yeah. So there's an instance where Scott and Ramona are riding in a bus, and they're talking to each other, and Scott's trying to win her over, right? I want to say that she kind of talks to him about her exes. And in the windows behind him, all the lights are hearts. And in the window behind her, when she's talking about her exes, all the lights are X's as they're driving by. And then as they finish their conversation, both sides, the lights are hearts. If you looked behind both Kitty and Puss in the trees, the light shining through the leaves were hearts.
Oh, shit. I did not notice that.
Straight out of Scott Pilgrim. These guys, the people that worked on this movie are straight stealing all of the stuff.
Well, you can look at that two ways. Number one, this movie is definitely just cribbing from as much as it can,
of course,
from better things to make it, but it makes it a better film too.
Oh, for sure.
But also Edgar Wright, especially Scott Pilgrim, loves animation and wants to
he wants to do an animated. I would watch it.
I'm sure he will one day.
Yeah.
But Scott Pilgrim in particular is a very animated movie.
Yeah.
And it's so cool every time it happens, and it's even small little gags like the pee meter.
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah, of course. I remember the pee meter.
It's just so, and it's stuff like that I don't think a lot of that stuff is in the comic. Yeah, some of it is for sure.
The pee meter is actually
the pee meter is.
Yes, it is.
Of course. Okay. And you know what? I don't know of any game that has a pee meter except for Death Stranding, which came out way after the fact.
I wanted to say that.
Yeah, is there
No More Heroes. But they don't have a P meter.
Was that post Scott? No, I guess it wasn't.
That was
the Wii.
right before Scott Pilgrim. The first one was.
God, that is kind of a Scott Pilgrim kind of game.
It is.
Too.
I love that game. I love that series.
One?
I love all of them. I played all three and the
spinoff before 3.
Yep. I love that series.
Travis Strikes Back.
Travis Strikes Back.
Yeah. What a franchise!
It's so good. I could spend 3 hours talking about that. But anyways,
I had a great time with that first one, but it had some slog moments for sure.
I think the not to fucking derail and go on a tangent, but
I think baby, that's the pod.
the strength of those games is the intrigue of the assassins that you're going to kill. Yeah. Getting to them is whatever. That's the menial shit part of the games. But even those actually have a place for them. There's a guy who does a breakdown of where, oh fuck! Please don't tell me his name's not Toshida. I really feel so bad that I've forgotten.
It's like a YouTuber or something.
No. Oh. The guy who makes the games. The
guy
Suda51.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, that I know.
Yeah. But I'm trying to remember his first name. Anyways, so
I don't know his full name. He's just collectively known as Suda51.
All of the games actually are representative of like different periods in his life.
That makes sense.
And Travis Strikes Back is the most poignant one. It actually goes through his time in the gaming industry from the start of the game to the end of the game, and how all the different bosses are representational of different parts of him that died, like creatively.
Wow.
In order to do certain things. And then it's the same thing with like the overarching plot of where Travis starts and where he ends, and then the assassins are like bits and pieces of things that Suda likes. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
That series is so much more deeper than what the games even
Yeah.
like give you, but that's neither here nor there.
I'd like to replay them. I hope they kind of remake them soon in like a trilogy pack or something.
So the
it deserves it.
first and second one are remade for the Switch.
Oh, that's right. They
Yeah.
did do that.
They did.
Are they? Is it okay? Is it a good port?
I
haven't
didn't.
heard
So
anything.
I didn't purchase those two.
Yeah.
Haley almost got them for me, but I was like, I'll just play the third one. And even then, like I got sidetracked in halfway through the third game. I kind of guessed where it was going.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed what I did play. I need to go back and finish it, but
Yeah.
it's been a hot minute. But anyways, so we have that moment with Puss and Kitty. We have the moment with Goldilocks.
Oh, real fast
and the
before I
bears.
forget.
Yes.
I mentioned how anytime a movie has a character have a panic attack, I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm invested. I'm like, damn it. And it's happening more and more. I
Yeah.
feel like, because especially since the pandemic, I think a lot of people
Are being more empathetic towards like
or just discovered or it made itself known that they have panic disorders or anxiety disorders in general.
yeah.
And it's also in the Fabelmans.
No shit.
Someone has a panic attack, and it's whenever I have a panic attack, I think I'm having a heart attack, and that makes it worse. And that's what happens in the Fabelmans.
Oh, okay.
And and they have to be talked down, and they're like, "You get this from your mother," and it's like, "Fuck, I know I get it from my parents."
It's all coming together, Jared. I'm getting the fucking puzzle pieces. I understand you better now. It's a good thing that we have this
my life
podcast,
is
Jared.
making more and more sense.
Yeah. Oh man, we already missed the men would rather than therapy.
Oh, God
because
damn it.
fucking Kitty Soft Paws even says like you need therapy, and then
Yeah.
we were like,
Was that after the panic attack there?
no, it was way before. It was as they're leaving the city.
Oh, yeah, and they're in the cart.
You need therapy. It was like men would rather go on a gallivanting adventure than go to therapy. Anyways, so I don't remember. I want to say there's like a segment with Jack too where they're trying to like break down.
Yeah, because they get separated again, and he runs off into that crystal cave,
Yeah, he
and
gets
she goes to rescue Pierto or
Perito. Because Perito has been stolen by Goldilocks and the Three Bears because they thought he
Yes.
had the map and they were going to use him as leverage.
Yes.
And Puss is dealing with his final trial. This is the Cave of Lost Souls. And he's like, I'll just meet you on the other end. This is where you're supposed to go. And he holds the map up and shows Kitty where she's supposed to go, right? And so in the Cave of Lost Souls, Puss has to deal with his former lives. They're
Yes.
all there, and they're all like, hey, man, just stay here with us. You know, kind of getting to the theme of like, he's self-absorbed.
Yeah.
You know, he only cares about himself. It would just be better to live with him in the legends that he's, you know, made instead of finishing the goal.
Right, and they're all projected on like these giant
Crystals.
glass crystals around him. And
Yeah.
it's all 8 of them. They're all like really distinct caricatures of him.
Yeah.
One's like super buff.
The weightlifter one.
One's drunk and dressed like a leprechaun.
He's
I feel
he's German. He's German. That was supposed to be an Oktoberfest Puss.
Oh, that makes more sense and is a little less offensive, I guess.
Yeah. And then there's the one that got crushed by the bell.
So I get him from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
I
the
guess.
one from the beginning of the movie. Who's actually the last one I think that talks to him whenever Death shows up.
Right.
Death comes again.
Right. So and he appears inside the castle in a great scene, and then he just starts smashing all of his former selves, and they just shatter into a giant pile of like crystals. Just great scene. The animation's fantastic, and he's just like taunting Puss as he's walking around doing this and talking about how he's so excited to kill him and
He
stuff.
shows off his sickle that's got 8 kitty cat faces.
Oh, that's right. He
crossed
points
out.
at each life that he's crossed off on the sickle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great scene. Yeah.
He just, you know, gets him more upset, and I think he's like, that's when he intimates that, I love it when they run, or some shit like that.
He takes off,
Yeah, he runs again.
gets out of the crystal cave.
Yep.
And that's when Softpaws and
I think that's when everybody kind of culminates on each other because everybody gets
Right.
to the he gets to the star first and he starts reading.
well, they go to meet up, and he just runs.
Oh,
past,
yeah, runs right
and
past
they
them.
see him run off.
That's right.
And they're like, "Where's he going?" And he's just so fucking scared, he won't stop.
Yeah, he's like, I need to get my lives back.
Yeah, he's like, "I just have to do this," and he just keeps running. I think he looks back at them, and he's just like, "I can't. I have to keep going."
Yep. And so he
Yeah.
gets to the star and he starts reading the thing, and then he has to have that, you know, come to Jesus moment with Kitty and Perito, and he's just like, I I need this. Death is coming for me. And they're like, oh, ha, 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 yeah, you're all out your last life, whatever.
Yeah, you're so selfish.
Death
yeah.
comes for us all, you know.
Yeah.
You're clearly choosing yourself over us again. You know, do whatever you want with your wish. I don't even fucking want mine. Which is, you know, what Kitty says, except she doesn't say the F word. Would have been really funny if she did.
Oh,
there was a whole segment I know where
there's two different parts where
Perito is the one that says
his whole gag is that he is swearing, but they just bleep it out.
Yeah.
And honestly, true Shrek fashion, I guess. Because that was I remember turning to you and be like, oh,
here it is.
They're still using Shrek humor in this. And it's fine. It works.
It's whatever.
It made me laugh. I guffawed.
I had a hearty guffaw. And then Goldilocks and the Three Bears show up, and they're like, that's my wish, you know, and then Jack Horner shows up, and it's a fucking, you know, free-for-all for everybody. Yeah. Jack gets the upper hand and kicks Baby Bear into... Oh, hold on. Before he kicks Baby Bear into the side, one of his last baker's dozen, the one that survived all of the goofery, gets kicked in the side wall and is like, Jack, help me, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, you know, he intimates basically that he doesn't care, whatever.
He says something funny about, like, that's so funny how you think I would care or something.
Yeah, and then, you know, they dissolve into nothingness and the bug goes, oh, Jack, your friend is dead. Why would you let that happen?
That's not very nice of you.
Yeah, and then he's like, get out of here, and he flicks the bug out of the way. And so now you know the sides of the star are very dangerous, and so he kicks the baby bear, who's like not a baby at all, he's just the youngest bear, into the wall, and he starts dissolving. He's freaking out. Yeah. And so the mother bear grabs him, and she's starting to get pulled into the wall, and the father bear grabs him, and he's starting to get pulled into the wall. And Goldilocks has to save...
Well, she has the one
wish.
way is right, one way is wrong. She on one side she can go get the map and fight Jack Horner for it. On the other side, she goes and rescues her family. Yeah, and she really thinks about it, and then she runs after her brother and whips her stick around his necklace and pulls him in. Mm-hmm. And she says to him like,
I told you already. No, hold on. Let me.
Okay, let's get your Cockney accent out.
Oh fuck, I'm on the spot.
We're gonna get letters.
I told you already. I grab, you smash. It's fucking stupid.
Which is a callback to the movie earlier.
Yeah. And so her plot's done. They're done. Right. She realizes the family that she wanted all along was already in front of her.
And so she rescues Baby Bear, and they all just like, oh, we're so glad you came back.
And they like fuck off in a corner. They stop fighting.
Well. Kinda.
Do they not stop fighting?
So as Puss and Softballs are fighting Jack Horner, they do like help out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Later, they all kind of tag team on him.
Right. Oh, yeah. They push him into the bag. He gets pushed in the bag, and the thread is done. Right.
Right. And so then
you hear
everything is fine. Yeah. And so they tell Puss like, hey, like have your wish. Yeah. And he just he really thinks about it, and he's like, I don't, it doesn't feel right. And even Pietro, oh God, what is it? Perito. I'm never gonna get
little
it right.
dog.
Harvey. Yeah. Harvey just tells him, he's like, you have it. Like I'm not gonna do anything with it. And then fucking Death whistles and just shows up and makes a ring of fire around just Puss. And everyone was like, what the fuck is going on?
Like, who the fuck's this guy?
And so the wolf comes in, and
they have a fucking badass fight.
Square off. Yeah.
So Puss has been missing his sword the entire...
Right, he lost his sword the first time he fought him back in the bar, right?
He left it.
Oh, yeah, he abandoned it, yeah.
And I want to say the wolf throws it to him again.
Right, he needs him to fight back.
Yeah, he says pick it up, and you know, Puss actually puts up a fight, and the action sequence between the two is so fucking dynamic and cool, so anime.
Great. Yeah, no, it was very, like, it wasn't boring to look at. And a lot of animated films can't get that right. It feels like, no, this one nails it. Like all of his fight scenes with the wolf are great.
Fucking great, yeah. So like, you know, Puss is holding his own, and at one point, Death like combines his two sickles into one, you know, giant spinning blade.
A staff thing, like he goes Darth Maul.
He goes Darth Maul on his ass, dude.
Duel of Fate starts playing. Oh my god, yes!
Get out of my head.
How much better would that have been?
Oh, dude,
like, we need to make this AMV
so
right now.
Cool. Okay, anyways.
Well, there's a great scene too where the wolf disarms him. You know, he knocks his rapier out of his arm or his hands, and he goes to slash him, and he goes, say
Oh, yeah.
hello to my little blade.
Yeah,
and he
and
pulls
he-
out the little dagger
that
that
kid he gave him.
Soft Paws
Yeah.
has gifted him essentially to fight with.
Yes. So he's like, oh,
And it's like, oh, see, your friends are helping you out, even if they're outside of the
the
fight
periphery
field.
of what's going on. Yeah.
And and so he's able to
Split the
fend off the slash and then get pushed around to grab his sword and hat again.
That's right,
He's back
yeah.
in the game.
He's back
It's a
in the
great
game.
comeback.
It's so
in
good.
the middle of the fight. Yeah.
Yeah, he rallies and then he splits the sickles and actually
Yeah.
gets a blow on Death.
Yeah.
And then he delivers the line, "Pick it up."
Yeah, he reverses it on him. He's telling him, it's so good.
It's so good. And the the wolf is like, "What the fuck?" And so he grabs it, and Puss gives him like, I might have squandered my other lives, but I'm gonna fight to the end for this one.
Right. He, gives the monologue that is the realization that, like, I know, and he tells him, he's like, I'm going to see you someday,
Yes.
but I'm going to fight for this right now.
Yeah.
And he is essentially saying that, like, coming to terms with realizing, like, yeah, I know this is my last life, but I'm not going to give it up that easily. And it pisses the wolf off so bad.
Much. He's like, this isn't fun anymore. He basically does Gage from that fucking movie that Steven Spielberg, not Steven Spielberg, what the fuck is his name? The guy who did Pennywise and It.
Skarsgård?
No, Pet Cemetery. The little kid, whenever the kid gets hit by the injection, the kid who's been killing everybody, Gage from Pet Cemetery, the dead kid.
I don't.
Okay.
It's
My
been
god.
too long.
So
And I didn't see the remake.
So no. This is the original.
Okay. It's
so
been too long since I've seen it.
The protagonist has like this serum that basically will put the body down again.
Okay.
And he hits the kid with it, and the kid's like, "No fail," and like, and he like fucks off and says "no fair" and then dies again.
Yeah.
That's essentially what the wolf does. He's
Oh.
like, "Oh, this is bullshit. Whatever. I'll see you again." And
Well,
then-
yeah, he tells him, he's like, fuck, I hate when they like get the fight in him again or
Yeah.
something. And then he like fucks off, and it's great.
It's great.
And it's it's a metaphor for him, like, coming to terms with
His own mortality.
and accepting it though
Yeah.
too.
Then Jack Horner shows back up.
Then
Yeah.
I love Soft Paws does a little bit where she's like, normally when people say that
Oh, death's after me.
death's after them, they don't mean it literally.
Literally, yeah.
It's a nice little gag I liked. And then Jack Horner pops out of the bag.
Yeah, he's been
Because he ate this cookie that turns you giant that you keep seeing.
Yeah, he keeps intimating like, "Oh, you're my secret weapon,"
Yeah.
in John Mulaney's voice that I can't parrot that one.
No, you
unfortunately.
can't do it, and that's half the reason why he's so good.
Yeah,
Like,
it's true.
He just can do so many voices.
But it's from Alice in Wonderland. That's the
Oh, of
thing
course
that
it
they're
is.
ripping
Of course
off.
it
Yeah.
is.
So
Yeah.
he goes giant. And
Well, when he comes out of the bag and he's giant, it's one of the funniest lines in the movie for me. And he was like, so he's got like the giant modifier on his voice, so he
yeah.
sounds like this,
Yes.
but it's still the John Mulaney like tone.
shit voice, yeah.
But he says like, "Oh, for a minute there, I was worried I was going to be naked, but my clothes grew with me." And it's great.
Right. So they overcome him, kind of in the same way that they overcome the giant in the beginning of the
Yeah, they all
movie.
team up to fight him.
They have Chenkov's Spanish Splinter.
Oh, right.
Or
Well, it's not Chekhov's blank in this instance because he used it in the beginning.
yeah, I know. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So and
Whatever.
for that,
I don't care. I just wanted to say the word.
it'd have to be like in a book of like skills.
Yeah.
That you see in the beginning, and then he uses it. At
okay,
the end
whatever.
For that to be.
He does the thing.
Sorry to mansplain.
No, it's
Chekhov's
okay, man. You got it, dude. So they do the thing, the same thing that they do at the beginning of the movie, and somehow Jack
But they
Horner's...
dual team his thumbs.
Yeah, they dual
this
team his
time instead of
thumbs, and
just
he's like,
him.
"Oh, fuck this, fucking hurts." And then, as he's, I
A
guess
lot of F-bombs in this kid's movie.
yeah, they say it a lot. It was crazy that they got a PG thing because like you can't have a no, never mind.
You
I was
get
saying
one fuck in a PG-13
teen movie.
don't you?
Yeah,
Or
was
I
gonna
think it's
say
up to 3 in some of them.
the movie can't be rated G if there's blood, and there's like blood in one instance, but it's PG, not G.
What's G anymore?
Dude, I don't fucking know.
Because like the
Barney.
MPAA is insane.
Barney. He's
The
coming
Barney
back.
reboot?
He's coming back, dude. He's gonna
Yeah,
be
but
cute.
if there's like even any
If
like
there's an
action scenes, it might be immediately
oh yeah,
PG.
dude, Barney pulls out a fucking gat and says, "Hey, this is how you protect yourself in a school shooting."
Okay.
So, anyways, I think the star breaks. Oh, that's what it was. They rip up the fucking.
They rip the map.
and he tries to put it together, but there's one missing piece.
Yep.
And that missing piece is being held by
Jiminy Cricket, baby. Well, ethical bug.
Ethical bug.
And he's riding the Phoenix from earlier.
Yeah.
And he goes, you're not a very nice person. consider this my resignation. And then he like throws the last scrap of the map, and then the Phoenix burns it.
Yeah.
And it's great. And then Jack Warner gets like sucked up into
the
collapsing star.
Hold on, it gets better.
Yeah.
The star breaks, and
Yeah.
he goes down, the same way that the Terminator does in Terminator 2.
I forgot he does the thumb thing,
But he does it-
it's the reverse. It's him putting the thumb down, like
down.
he's putting it into the
Pie,
pies.
exactly.
It's so fucking funny.
God, it's
when I
so
rewatched it with my wife, I had to point out like he did the Terminator thing, and she goes, "Oh my god, I didn't put that together."
We had to pause it because I was losing my fucking
yeah, it
mind.
was such
it was
a
so
funny
stupid.
gag.
If I had seen that shit in theaters, man, I would have gotten thrown out.
Yeah, well, it's the end of the movie. It's fine.
Yeah.
You would have scared the other kids in the theater.
That's probably what and my own
Sir,
kid.
can you leave? Yeah.
Sir, this is a Wendy's. I need you to go. So,
You're scaring the other children.
Puss finds a new lease on life. They name the dog just Perrito.
Yeah, they try to agree on a name, but he just stays with Perrito.
Yeah.
Goldilocks, and the three bears fuck off and just become they're going to take over like a factory.
Yeah, they're going to take over Jack Horner's factory because there's nobody in business anymore.
Right. And then an ethical bug appears on Baby Bear's nose. And he's like, "Oh, now's a good time to talk about the ethiks of running a business."
Oh, that's right.
And he goes,
yeah.
there's a cockroach on my nose. And they try to kill him.
Yeah.
And then Puss and Softpaws and Perrito steal the governor's ship
And go back to...
and are sailing back to the land from Shrek, far away.
Yeah, they're going back to Shrekland, which...
So is that...
It's kind of scary that they're like, oh, hey, let's reboot Shrek. And
Yeah,
do it
is that
in
what they're
this.
implying? Because that sucked. That was the one thing in this movie where I was like,
No,
don't do this. Don't do this. Please don't. Oh, or like Switch says in The Matrix, not like these.
Okay, sure. But anyways... I don't remember which character.
Who is Switch?
Dude, I watched
She's
all
the blonde woman that's wearing all white.
Oh, yep, okay.
She's called Switch because originally in the script, the Wachowskis wanted her to be a female in
The Matrix,
and a male in the real world.
Yeah.
But WB was like,
We can't do that. That's too woke.
it's exactly.
get
It was
canceled.
too woke for 1999.
Anyways, I fucking love this movie. I love it so much.
It was great.
I want to own it.
I really had no idea. Like it had no right being this good. you
No,
know?
it did not.
Yeah.
Being in development hell for 11 years, coming off of
How many times did it get rewritten from scratch?
I have a sequel to a fucking movie for a character that's
Right.
in the second Shrek film.
Yeah.
Or is he even in the second one, or is he in the third one?
I think he's in the second one because I've seen 1 and 2 and I remember him.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
But like I know
just so
somebody who
weird.
worked on. I don't know them personally, but I know somebody that worked on the Puss in Boots movie. And when they talk about it, they're kind of like flippantly just being like, "Yeah, I worked on that trash," and they're not proud of it at all. But it's like it feels like at the time DreamWorks was like it's just a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, an
It
animation
wasn't-
mill.
These weren't like passion projects. Yeah.
No.
But man, they really outdid themselves on this movie.
Fucking unreal. And then
Yeah.
I looked at the director. The only other thing that he did that I've seen was the Lego Movie 2.
That makes sense where a lot of the Lord and Miller inspirations came from then.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure there was a writer's room because it's an animation movie. It's not usually attributed to one person. It's probably a team of people.
Yeah, hold on. This guy did... Because I remember bringing this up and being like, hey, I need to figure out who this director was because this was good. This was very good.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Lego Movie 2. He did Trolls. He did one of the Croods movies.
I haven't seen those movies. I've seen Lego Movie. But
and hold on,
don't understand them to be good.
He's actually not a director in any of these. He's a story artist.
Oh, so he is just been working his way up in the animation studio.
Seems like that, yeah.
Okay. Hey, everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, everybody does have to start somewhere.
Steven Spielberg fucking worked on a bunch of CBS bullshit TV movies and stuff.
This is true. And then Juanuel Mercado was the co-director.
Oh yeah, animation usually has 2 directors too. Yeah,
and
for A unit and B unit.
Nothing. Dear Diary, World's First Pranks.
Yeah.
And Harvey Beaks.
Huh.
Yeah. So like, not only does this movie have no right being as good as it is.
Yeah. I mean,
it's come from fucking nowhere.
I regret saying that. I feel like I'm taking
no,
away.
no. When you put it in context of the other Shrek movies,
Well, and if you try to explain to someone like, "Hey, that Puss in Boots sequel, it's really good. You should see it." People will look at you and go,
What?
What are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
I would never see that.
that
You
was
have
my
to
wife.
like defend it to them.
That was my wife, and that's when I was like, I gave her the fucking spiel about you
Yeah.
know him encountering death for the first time.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, that sounds interesting. Maybe I'll watch it with you." And then I texted her after, like, literally after we were done
Yeah.
and setting up for recording. I was like, "Puss in Boots fucked. It
Yeah.
was really
it fucked
good."
and it slapped. And it's...
And she was like, "I'm super surprised."
Yeah, yeah. Courtney watched it the weekend after we watched it, and she texted me because I was mowing the yard, and she was like, "I love Puss in Boots."
Yeah, it was great.
I was like, "Yeah, it's
Fucking great.
I came in and watched the last half of it with her too after I was done.
Which like is it's gonna be such a bummer because I don't think I'm gonna be watching any other movies until we go see Ant-Man, and I don't even know if we really want to talk about Ant-Man. I'm hoping that I'm gonna enjoy it, and I probably will.
We could probably do 30 minutes on it next week, or
Well,
when you come back.
yeah, when I come back, yeah.
But that's maybe you won't even remember it.
I hope that's not the case because I love the Ant-Man movies are so charming.
Is it still something Reed, the director? He did.
Is it Henry Reed?
He took over after Edgar Wright left the first one.
I will look it up.
He is a effects artist that became a director.
Yeah.
Peyton Reed.
Peyton Reed.
Yeah, he directed the Ant-Man movies, and I think he's doing this one also.
Okay, that means that there's definitely like some sort of studio oversight
On Ant-Man.
I'm almost positive because
It's Marvel. Yeah, Kevin Feige has final say on everything.
yeah, I guess it's just like you'd think that you'd give somebody credit for because if he's been the writer for 2 Ant-Man movies and they're both way better than what they should have been. I like the Ant-Man movies. I think they're fun.
Wait, what are we talking about? Peyton Reed?
Peyton Reed and like having his movie not get fucked with by the studio.
Well, I think Marvel. Okay, we are not the first or the last or the most definitive people to talk about Marvel movies, but this is
No.
my understanding as a general audience member and someone who knows a little bit too much about fucking everything.
Yeah.
But so Peyton Reed, I believe, is also the director of this new one, but he also directed 1 and 2. Well, he's okay.
He came in and did some of the stuff for the first one.
So the first one, it's kind of fraught. So Edgar Wright wrote and directed a lot of that movie, and then very late into production, left the movie.
right.
We may never know the full story. Maybe a tell-all book will come out, but there was an issue with Edgar Wright and Disney, I believe, or maybe Marvel, where he left the movie, and Peyton Reed, took over for directing duties for that movie, and
Yeah.
did the subsequent sequels. So I think Marvel has pulled back from how they were originally. Well, they've always wanted to be like, we hand these movies over to their creators. We give them a general outline of what we want them to do.
Yeah.
And they try not to meddle. From what I understand, they try not to meddle much outside of that, unless there seems to be a serious problem. That may have been what happened on the first Ant-Man, is maybe the movie was going over budget or over schedule. And as they started getting involved, or maybe they were telling Edgar no about things, that's when he left. Who knows? There's only a few people on Earth that will ever know, maybe.
Yeah.
But I feel like this late into the game, we're in what is it, phase 5?
Yeah, we're phase 5.
So do you think they're exerting more
Yes.
control?
Yes, this is so.
Is it because they have to set up more shit
No.
too, or
This is my thought process on this, right? Because the reviews that I read and the vibe that I'm getting is this movie is very much like Thor: Love and Thunder, where they have this brand new Thanos level villain in it, and he's supposed to be taken as a serious threat.
Yeah.
But-
And they're only building him in this movie. He's going to be the Avengers level problem in another movie, a subsequent movie.
Right.
So
But this is
this just
introduction.
feels like
It's
like
not,
setup. This movie is just set up.
the complaints that I saw were that during serious moments they're still cutting, jokes and not taking shit seriously.
Well, that's
which
kind of
I know that's what Marvel
disease
does.
with Marvel.
I understand that,
and it
but
always has been. Yeah.
I understand that, but there were instances where Thanos really did feel like a force to be reckoned with.
Right.
Okay.
Because he would just kill characters.
Yeah.
Now they undercut that later
Right.
because you realize, oh, none of these threats are meaningful.
Well, you can't. At the end of the day, you can't have your fucking villains win,
I understand.
which was
I
what
understand.
made.
But also, like, 3 people he killed stayed dead out of half the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Black Widow.
Black Widow, Gamora, and even then, Gamora's coming back because it's a
Well-
different. It's not the same Gamora, and then the Vision is dead.
Vision was the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, but regardless of that, this is supposed to be the next the next big threat, and they're doing goofs and gags and all that other shit, which is really unfortunate because I was hoping that this movie was going to start off like, and I told you this, I was hoping it was going to be like The Predator, in the sense that
Yeah.
The Predator starts as an action movie and ends as a horror movie.
Yeah.
I was hoping this movie was going to start as, hey, it's Ant-Man and we're going to have fun with Ant-Man, and then it slowly devolves into like, the very merits of Scott Lang's soul being tested. And maybe that's just on me for wanting that. Maybe
I mean, it's not impossible.
I'm blaming the trailers, because there's instances where you're seeing like a giant Ant-Man being kind of dissolved into spaghetti.
Yeah.
You see him in combat with Kang, and it looks like he's really wrestling with certain themes that are going on in this movie. And to hear that they're just doing goofs and gags the way Love and Thunder did, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe the first cut of this movie was like really dark, and they're like, oh, this is not going to test well, and so we have to be goofy and shit, and that's just like a bummer.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know if you saw Love and Thunder.
I did.
Christian Bale was completely wasted. He's
good.
I liked Gore.
He's in a different movie.
He is in a different movie. You're
different
absolutely
movie.
right. He is.
I'm
But,
not
like,
the first
they-
person to say that. I
No,
don't.
no,
I
no,
don't think I'm having an original thought there. But
No. But like I haven't really gotten to talk with anybody other than Haley about
Yeah.
my disappointment with the movie.
Yeah.
Because I really liked Christian Bale's performance. I liked Gore. I liked he was.
Yeah, it's good,
Yeah, it is good. And then
but it's not theme appropriate for a Thor movie directed by Taika Waititi, who is a very talented director. I love
Yeah.
the man. I love his work.
Me too.
That was 2 opposing movies.
It was too Taika.
To Taika. You're
Yeah,
saying?
I think that there was nobody was there to he smashed, because Thor's always been kind of
Well,
fraught. Hold on.
I think he shouldn't have been given the storyline to cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's covering an existing storyline.
Is he?
Yeah.
Because I
that's-
thought Gore the God Butcher, that was like its own thing.
it's
right?
an existing comic.
Yeah,
book.
that is. But like, was it smashed together with something else, or
Yeah, a Taika Thor movie. That's what it was. I'm serious.
Okay, yeah.
Those are 2 different movies. You need to bring back fucking Kenneth Branagh, who directed the first Thor,
Yeah.
to do the God Butcher Thor movie. You
that
know what
was,
I mean?
That was exactly what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at. Is Thor was fraught with identity issues in his
Yeah.
own movie.
Also,
and Taika knocked it out of the fucking
Natalie
park with this.
Portman subplot is really fucking weird. I don't think it was.
But that was
handled
also
well.
another existing Thor.
But-
but once I know you're taking two different comic books and you smashing them together.
They're doing too much in that movie.
Yeah.
Whereas
What I'm saying is
Ragnarok was great because it was just a fun little sci-fi jaunt.
someone should have been there to let him not go too far in a couple places. I
See,
don't know
I
if that's
disagree. I don't think that's his fault.
No.
No, I think they shouldn't have made him do all those storylines in that movie.
Do you think they forced the multiple storylines on him?
Yes,
Or, okay.
and that's what I think is probably. I haven't seen it yet, but I think that's going to be the problem in this Ant-Man movie.
Okay.
Because an effective Ant-Man movie is just a
heist. It's a heist movie.
crime comedy.
Yes.
You make it a heist movie, and it's funny.
Yeah.
Because him and all of his auxiliary characters are really funny.
Yes.
And that's the point. Like, you just have fun, and the stakes aren't that high because he's fucking Ant-Man. Don't make the stakes that high. You know what I mean?
That's why I was
Save
so
the stakes for.
That's why I was so excited about this, because like, holy fuck, dude. He has the ability to exist in a world where the stakes are much larger than him.
Yeah, but
And that's
should Paul
cool.
Rudd be doing that?
Yes.
No, I think you should base the movie around the capabilities of the actor too.
Dude, Paul Rudd could do it. Paul Rudd. I
love the man,
don't think that.
but he's
the
better
movie's-
suited for comedies.
Right. I don't think that the movie's going to suffer because of Paul Rudd's performance. I don't think.
No, that's fair. Yeah, I'll agree with that. But I'm just saying, like, when you cast Paul Rudd as the lead in your movie, you're not looking to make,
dude.
a sad, an Empire Strikes Back, essentially, like
Yeah.
a sad epic. I think is what you're wanting out of this. Like a movie that just
I
has
want it to be I want a downer Marvel movie. I want to go back to Infinity War because that was like, dude, I cried in the theaters when
well, those movies
Peter Parker's
manipulate
like,
your emotions
yeah, Peter
so
Parker's
well.
like, oh, I don't feel so good.
I don't
Mr.
feel
Stark.
so good.
Yo, dude, I didn't expect them to do that. I was so stunned with all the characters getting dusted.
Yeah,
and,
it felt powerful, but
Yeah.
guess what? It didn't matter. The stakes didn't matter.
It never
buddy.
does.
It's just
Not
like
in any
comic
kind of
books.
fucking comic book.
Comic
yeah.
book movies don't matter because nobody actually dies.
If they kill off Ant-Man in this one permanently,
They're not gonna kill Ant-Man.
But what if they do?
They might kill.
The Wasp or his daughter. What if they kill his daughter?
They won't kill his daughter. They'll kill the Wasp because she's anti-vaxxed and was a real problem on set. Apparently, you heard about this, right?
No,
this came out like
dude.
a year
oh,
ago.
My fucking god, no.
What's her name?
Oh wait, Evangeline Lilly. I did hear the
allegedly.
discourse on this one.
Allegedly,
yeah.
I gotta protect myself.
Yeah, you're about to get fucking sued in oblivion. Good job.
It came out.
I'm not
on,
associated with this,
a
man.
lot of the.
I don't condone.
There were a lot of reports that she was holding up production because she didn't want to get vaccinated. Yeah, and also
it's
the
the same
lady
thing
on
with
Wakanda
Shuri.
Forever
Yeah, it's
too.
the same with
yeah,
Shuri.
yeah, was also refusing to get vaccinated. Dude, fucking people complain about Hollywood being too woke, and then it's like, no, dude, there's a lot of dumbass people in Hollywood that like can't even do the barest minimum. anyway, I digress. They would kill off the Wasp or
They didn't kill off Shuri.
what's the dad?
Hank Pym.
Hank Pym. But wait, is that him?
Yeah, he's Hank Pym. The dad
Who's
is
the
Hank Pym.
DC version of Ant-Man?
Oh, that's the
Isn't he Hank Pym?
No, he's not Hank Pym because Hank Pym makes Pym
Atom.
particles. The Atom is completely different.
That's not his name, Hank Pym. Wow, I trust you to know.
Oh, it's okay. I did the same thing with Green Arrow and Hawkeye. I thought Hawkeye was DC and Green Arrow.
Oh
was...
yeah. Oh, easy mistake to make too. It's because
No,
they
no,
all
it's
are.
not.
Well, Deadpool and Deathstroke.
Also, apparently not as tied together as we originally thought. Michael Douglas as Hank Pym.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But when you said Hank Pym, I was like, wait, isn't that the Adams name?
No,
But,
I don't even know what his name is.
Yeah, I guess I don't either then. But anyway, they would probably kill Michael Douglas, or because he's probably getting too expensive too, and or the Wasp. Yeah, they'll kill somebody like that. No way they'll kill Michael Pena, right? Pena. Isn't he?
Wait, are you? He's not gonna be in this fucking. There's no way he's in this movie. I know who you're talking. Michael Pena is in this movie. Is in the Ant-Man movies, but I don't think he's in this one.
Wait, really?
Yeah, Michael.
He's
Pena.
like their secret weapon. They can't not have him. Like, I'll legit be mad if he's not in this one.
Fuck, he is. He
He
is.
fucking better be. That's the best subplot in these in the Ant-Man movies.
Is him doing the fucking
is his like
breakdowns.
former criminal friends that
Yeah.
run that little business that help
Yeah.
him out. They fucking rule. That's what I'm saying. These movies need to be. Is just a little crime romper that's funny
That is
with
not
those
what,
guys.
That is not what this movie's gonna be.
Oh, I understand, and I think that's why
It's not doing.
everyone's clowning on it already.
Well, I'm seeing it Sunday, so.
And I think I'm going
Do
to
you
be
wanna
there
go see
with
the
you,
movie?
right?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to. After the reviews started rolling in, I was like, Jared doesn't want to fucking see this stupid ass movie with me. Ain't no fucking way.
I am kind of dreading it.
Oh yeah.
Folks, thank you for listening. I've been Jared Rusk, and you can find me on Twitter at Jared S. Rusk or on Instagram at solid_slack. Will, where can people find you, and what would you like to plug?
Just my Instagram, because once again, I'm not on the Bird app. You can find me at pocket_infinity, like the gun from Destiny, on Instagram, and that's it. I don't even post that much on there, but I'm trying. I'm really trying to be consistent in posting my artwork on there.
Once a day, man. That's how you got to beat the algorithm.
Fuck, there's no fucking way, dude. No, ain't no.
Well,
time.
you don't. It doesn't have to be a new photo. Pull it out of your camera roll.
You don't want to see the pictures that I take.
of your Space Marines and such?
Yes, because I totally play Space Marines, Jared. You know, we don't have not had enough conversations because you would know that I don't fucking play Space Marines. God damn it, Jared.
Wait, I'm confused. Is the Space Marine not a general term for the soldiers in 40K? Or?
No, it's not. That's a specific faction.
Oh.
Dude, you're going to get the whole Lord... Mark my words.
You really are blowing my mind. I thought that was just generally what they're called.
Mark my words. When the Henry Cavill thing comes out in 2 years,
Oh, boy.
right, and we're still doing this, we're gonna have a watch party, and I'm gonna do a whole fucking lore break. I'm breaking down all the lore. You're gonna be a fucking professor in Warhammer lore by the time we're done.
I'm gonna look like the guy in Dune when his eyes roll back and he just starts reciting things. Those guys rule. We gotta rewatch Dune.
Did I not tell you that like Warhammer stole everything that they have from Dune?
Oh, I think we have had that conversation. Yeah.
Literally watching Dune was like, holy fuck, they lifted every. There's a reason why I think that the Warhammer series is going to be Horus Heresy, because that's the only original content that they've got, because they have stolen literally everything from Dune, Terminator, Starship Troopers, StarCraft. It's unreal.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
So.
Dune was so good.
Dune fucking rocked. I can't wait for the second one. It's gonna be fucking great.
Dune Part 2. Fucking, I'll be there opening night. Fucking, I'll take off work.
I'm gonna be high on spice. I'm gonna be
Give me the
up my
spice.
fucking mind,
Put
dude.
the spice in me.
So fucking dumb.
I'm gonna see Zendaya and I'm gonna take spice.
My eyes are gonna be blue. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna have a tube in my fucking nose. Rock out. Okay. Bye, guys.
Who is your favorite fearless hero? Who is your favorite fearless hero? Who's brave and ready for trouble? Who is so unbelievably humble? Who is your favorite fearless hero? Who is your favorite fearless hero? Who's the guy who rolls the dice and gambles with his life? Who's ever been touched by a blade? Whose boots is never afraid?
Debaser is hosted by Will Taylor and Jared Rusk. The podcast is edited and produced by Jared Rusk. Want to email the show? Send it to podcast@debaserpod.com. Want to help us out? Please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice, especially if it's Apple Podcast. And hey, tell a friend about Debaser Pod too. Thanks for listening, and take care out there.